The next presentation is again in the academic and learning collaboration stream or topic. We have Bryan Ollendyke, who is going to be talking about the LMS and beyond, ELMS LN. And Bryan is from the Pennsylvania State University. He's crazy, abrasive, caring, dreaming the future into existence. Bryan Ollendyke is pushing the envelope on the perception of quality of liberating educational technology. Not technology that swaps out one master for another, but actual liberation of faculty from the cycle of LMSs. Bryan has been an open source developer activist since 2007 with hundreds of open source modules, libraries, and repositories across the web components and Drupal ecosystems. Bryan is the lead developer on the ELMS LN Next Generation Digital Learning Environment platform, as well as HAX The Web, an innovative decoupled web editor for any platform. Go ahead, Bryan.
Thank you, Janice. That was such a nice introduction. I don't know where that all came from. Is everybody able to see my screen? Never done full screen Zoom. Full screen Zoom.
Oh, and Bryan wants to hold his questions to the end, so please put them in the chat. Go ahead.
All right. Awesome. All right, let's go. So welcome to the State of the Network. This is the ELMS Learning Network 2020 update at Apereo online. So I am your Zoom voice in the basement host, Bryan Ollendyke, or at BTO Pro on all major platforms. And we did it, gang. We built the NGDLE, didn't we? So big accomplishment for this year. ELMS Learning Network released version 1.0.0. And the way you release a 1.0 is when you, as the project lead, say, you know what, this is a 1.0. And so I did. But the real reason is that we refined the scope of the application down to about two major tools. So there's a course content management system, and then there's a studio-based instructional piece. We use this in arts and architecture at Penn State for about 80 courses or so. The other big deal as to why we went 1.0 is we have a really high quality developer pipeline now for our web components. And so we use web components as a standard way of building out our user interface pieces, and it's way more performant than what we had been doing previously. So there's an external deployment of ELMS Learning Network in the UK that has like 60,000 or so students for medical training. There's around 10,000 students annually that experience ELMS LN based courses. And so we did it. I mean, Michael Potter, my colleague, we did it. That's the we. It's over. We've got 1.0. We built the NGDLE. Just go get the product. Just go buy it. Go download it. It's great, right? It's great. I mean, it's practically InstructureCon. Just go purchase a product, and now you have the next generation, right? Except the weird thing with NGDLE is it's not really one system, is it? Because we've got a lot of different systems, and we've got a lot of products and a lot of different things that we need to integrate, and there's different ways of teaching, and I'm never going to make the one way for you to educate most effectively. That's just not possible. And by we, I don't mean the royal we, right? I mean me and Mike. That's two people. Our mental model of NGDLE is exactly what you, the person implementing, needs, or you, the faculty member. It's our mental model, and we represent everyone, right? So thank you for listening to BTO Pro, the ELMS Learning Network talk. This is honestly what I would have said in 2015, probably. Hold on, give me a second here. So for today's purposes, NGDLE is going to have a very different meaning than what I've probably talked about before. So we haxed NGDLE, and we are hacking the web and education in any silo that we can come across with a very different vision of what NGDLE is and a very different technical approach that can work anywhere. So now for today, NGDLE is going to be now go do learning engineering. Just for today, like let's just you, me in the room, let's make sure that that's what it actually means. That's what NGDLE means. So what do we go do with this new acronym, right? We go do learning engineering, the WGDLA. So ELMS LN is no longer a singular project. It is something used at Penn State. It has minor adoption as it has for the last several years, but it's more of a clearinghouse and an umbrella of multiple projects, things like OER schema, ELMS LM, the platform integration, and then HAX the Web, which is really kind of taking on a life of its own and taking off across the country and elsewhere. So it is a tangible vision of NGDLE as applied to any application, that anything can become part of the next generation digital learning environment. In pursuit of this, we've published 286 NPM packages as web components and tooling. These are reusable pieces that can be easily implemented in any system, regardless of how it was constructed, as long as it's on the internet and is in a browser. So we have a much more uniting message. Web components work everywhere. It's no longer, hey, go adopt ELMS. It's, hey, adopt this methodology and we're gonna meet you down the road in a few years. So web components in 5 slides, like it's its own conference. In fact, we'll say that we made one. But web components work everywhere because it is a standard of the browser. So imagine that we as developers have a brand new capability to not just be pegged to, oh, it's a div. Oh, there's a paragraph tag and a bold, that we could actually define brand new tags that have whatever convention we want. And we have a standard way of shipping those between our applications and repurposing them. That's what web components gives us. We can build our own HTML tags that work in every browser natively. Then we can distribute those tags via package managers like NPM. So if you went and ran yarn install or NPM install at LRN web components /video player, you would join the 374 other people, apparently based on this picture, that have been downloading this weekly. So our video player, which you can see on the homepage of hax.camp or haxtheweb.org, is completely decoupled from every system we do. So the same video player in ELMS, you can get in OAE, Sakai, anywhere else, and it's written in such a way that you can use it elsewhere easily. So what makes up a web component? Well, you've got a video-player.js in this example. You can reuse other people's code and elements. So it is ultimately JavaScript, but you can build on top of and stack and import other people's components to build new ones. So then ultimately somewhere down deep in HTML, there is this class called HTML element. And all the browser vendors have agreed upon this class. And so as long as we all extend from that element, all of our components will be able to live happy on the page, and you can repurpose people's video players and whatnot. So there's another aspect of this. This is style and JavaScript encapsulation. And so if you've ever been to YouTube, or if you go to any of our properties, or you're starting to see like on the new Apple audio player, the iTunes Online, or Amazon's music player, you might right click and see that they have something like an audio-player, and that it has this little thing called shadow root. And so that implies style encapsulation, and it helps with JavaScript scoping as well. So what is HAX? HAX is one of those tags that you can repurpose from anywhere and use anywhere. So it is a H-A-X tag. You can get it from NPM, and it's a web component that knows how to edit HTML. And because web components are HTML, it also can be taught how to edit advanced data types, like in this case, video player. HAX doesn't know how to edit video player. The video player tells HAX via a small schema, here's how to edit me, and we build a consistent UI. So that means, because we're pegging to web components, that we work in all frameworks and all platforms. There are 400 plus web components we've made over the last few years, work in any of these platforms. And that means that HAX can work in any of these platforms, some of which we already have going. So let's look at how we HAX all the webs, or really bring about the NGDLE. Let's turn any system into a learning application. So these are some of the more mature HAX integrations we have. We already have Drupal, WordPress, Backdrop, GrabCMS, Eleventy integrations as formal plugins, a lot of them accepted to the actual official sources for these. So you can fire up your WordPress site and search for HAX the Web and throw it in and get it running real quick. So this works because members of our team call it the magic script. And this is any project out there can use the magic script as well. So the magic script is effectively, we've standardized our build and bundling routine so that when you pull together all of these assets, every integration, no matter what it is, has the exact same methodology. As you can see here, it points to like a build.js. This is mostly because Dr. Charles Severance kept complaining that there was too much code to put on the page to make the thing happen. And so what I did is we reverse engineered how to basically hydrate the web components on the fly, no matter where they're installed. So because all of our integrations boil down to a single line, Penn State has been able to deploy this on a CloudFront CDN and has started leveraging those video players, those HAX tags, anything among our 400 some odd assets in any web property that can get this one line of JavaScript in there. So we've been able to HAX ELMS LN, right? So if we want to do responsive grid layouts, we don't teach people about responsive design. We don't teach them CSS. They use a grid hyphen plate tag, and they don't even know they're doing that because they click a button in HAX and it does it for them. Or maybe we move to a different thing. Maybe a faculty member wants to use Grav CMS. So then let them, this is HAX running in Grav. Or HAX running in our Drupal 7 site where we do marketing and communication about Drupal in general. So Drupal.php.edu has HAX. Or we're already ready for the future. Drupal 9 just dropped recently. This is HAX running in Drupal 9. Or WordPress. Or our own content management system. So we've been able to go and work on a little bit more ridiculous things, to be perfectly honest, as a result of just reusing all of our own code over and over again with these front-end bricks that are decoupled of systems. So we built our own CMS. And the goal of HAXcms is effectively to democratize publishing and creativity, make OER remixing painless. If there's a piece of content on the internet, it should work somewhere else without you needing to be an HTML engineer to figure out how to get view source and move it over there and copy that thing. And oh, now we have this new page, right? The average faculty member or student, they go, I want to put these things together. That's why when I dump a link in Facebook, it engineers what the preview should be. So we want to create lock-in free solutions at all levels. And I think web components is the way to do this. So what HAXcms ultimately is it's just a pathway to HAX, which edits what saves out as just a static HTML file. So each page is an HTML file. And then a very lightweight outlining tool that's shown here that basically is just saying these pages exist in this folder. Then if you want to do theming, you use web components for it. So we're using the same tooling and the same approaches all the way down the stack. You can see an example of this at odl.science.php.edu. This is a heavily customized, beautiful HAXcms theme that the Office of Digital Learning in Eberly College of Science had been working on. Or you can go to my course, I'll post a link later, but HAX.php.edu is running my own course. So I teach using this technology. I'm dog fooding it heavily. So I teach a course called IST 402. It's an emerging technologies course. And I've been building out all of my content in HAXcms using the HAX editor. And I've been doing some interesting things with the curriculum, if you follow me online. So my curriculum is kind of activism, to be perfectly honest. I don't think we're going to have vendors come and magically save us. I think, the NGDLE was announced as a concept in maybe 2013, 2014, something like that. Where's the product? Where's the mindset? Where's the vision to actually make this happen? It's not going to come from an industry that doesn't make sense for them to achieve. So we can grow this from within, and we have all the talent we need right in front of us. So we're learning about Git and version control and contributing to open source projects and web components and Drupal and content management systems and how flat file database systems work, and all of this in the vein of activism. And our students in my 402 class are actually doing projects where they're contributing to HAX and the documentation and our user experience and our tooling, and making videos that explain how to use different things in HAX, all in the pursuit of them becoming web professionals. So they're learning about open source through active participation in it. HAX.php.edu is running a multi-site version of HAXcms. It's enterprise SSO, so anyone at Penn State hits HAX.php.edu, they're automatically generated a new account. It's kind of like a multi-site. Now, there's like 80 some students in my class, but yet I have 155 users and 371 sites that have been made in the last 6 months. So the word's getting out somehow, but we haven't actually advertised it to very many people that it exists. So there's a hunger for this, and people are sharing it out organically, which is awesome. But so some of the little sites my students made, so this is our final project actually involves them making OER. I tell them, go and take a topic that was taught to you poorly and build a better version in, you know, a few hours. And because HAX is so easy to use and HAXcms lets you generate a site and self-express and stitch resources together, they've been able to make some awesome stuff. So whether it's on penetration testing, MongoDB, silly, less technical topics like this one in the bottom left, a student went through and taught me how to troll people in Minecraft in extreme detail with custom videos and artwork, or asking exam questions. So in the bottom right, we actually had a student go through, and she made the topic about, I forget, it was a liberal arts topic, reviewing some different classics. And then she made an exam. Why? Because there's a multiple choice tag. And so she drag and drop the multiple choice questions, filled it out, and go. I guarantee you can build things out faster in this in a more sustainable way than any learning management system right now. So we're not just about hacking education, because we're free of education. We're free of ELMS Learning Network with the way we're building things. So through our collaborations, we've actually been able to have contributions to our user experience from the National Archives. So they help do a very detailed, formalized user audit with some of their content contributors. And they identified at the time 21 major issues, of which we've resolved 19 so far. And they've contributed to our tooling documentation, implemented some of the stuff we've done. But we've been doing free trainings at Drupal-centric events with easily over 100 developers and site maintainers and site builders in the government space over the last few years. And we preach to them, no, hey, don't use HAX. Don't worry about that right now. Use web components and you will be on a pipeline that gets you to HAX. And so to show that, this is from one of the National Archives properties. You can see there's a NARA-branding-bar. And so this helps them solve a really silly, complex problem of getting a consistent branding bar at the top of a website. But they've been contributing to the HAX UX because they know it brings them along the way to what they ultimately want to get to. So this is pre their UX audit. And I mean, it's terrible. It's whatever my brain came up with, which is not that great. But this is after that UX audit. And so this side panel where you're working on things in context, drag and drop, much clearer definition and much more readable, much more accessible. This is all them and the on-the-ground experience they came up with, as well as me working in the classroom with students and different faculty members to see what they actually need and how they can build things. And we've got vendors now too, which is an amazing part of this year. So you can actually install HAXcms in Reclaim hosting, or you can enable the HAX plugin directly through their UI for GrabCMS, a trend I hope they continue because you could do it with WordPress and other things too. So we also had our own event last year before all this COVID stuff happened at Duke in October. And so we ended up having the very first HAX the Web meeting. We had 4 other ones planned for this year before life happened. But we're going to keep doing them. And it's a unconference format, small scale, where everybody just is talking about web components. And so if you want to join the HAX community, there's not some big fanfare. You can check out information about our unconference format at hax.camp. Grow with us in our Slack channel. It's bit.ly/haxslack. And on Fridays, we have 2-hour recorded shows, quote unquote, called Uncode, where 15 minutes beforehand, we all get together and figure out what we're going to talk about. So we're actually doing a HAX camp. This is quasi promotion for the next 2 days. We're doing a HAX camp the next 2 days of Apereo. So Wednesday and Thursday afternoon of this week, there's gonna be 4-hour blocks. We're gonna get together with whoever shows up in the Zoom room, have breakout sessions, unpack a lot of this stuff surrounding HAX and mostly web components. Quite honestly, I want to get your project using web components where it makes sense, not just forcibly saying, hey, go adopt HAX, it's the best, because it's not. It's on the road to that, though. So the roadmap ahead, we're going to be doing additional UX audits in the classroom with students. I'm teaching another class where this is going to happen. We're going to be refining HAX and HAXcms as part of that process. Improve documentation in our promotional sites, air quotes, surrounding the project now that we've actually built the tools that do that. You know, start hosting more events in a post-COVID world, but also doing our online Fridays. Deeper platform integrations. We've been in talks with a couple different vendors in the Drupal community specifically about doing deeper integrations and them contributing to the HAX integrations there, because we're a bridge between these silos. And we also have a summer intern that's currently working on a HAX desktop app using Electron. But really the road ahead is in collaboration with you, any of you listening in any project. So web components are a bridge between our code echo chambers. There's no reason.
And on that note, we are running out of time. Can you sum up in a sentence or so?
And there's no reason we can't work together. So let's think of all of us as learning engineers, and let's build these tools out together using web components and the web standards available that all of our things use.
Okay.
So with that, you can learn more at these links or dump them in the chat.
Thank you, Brian. You have a couple of fan comments on the chat. No particular questions, but it's time for lunch or a break. And there are 2 reminders from the conference organizers. First, please, there's still time to sign up for a lightning talk. The sign up link is on the conference homepage top banner. And we'll be back at 2 p.m. EDT for Designing for Resilience. Thanks, everybody, and thank you, Brian.
Thanks for having me.